Hell's Kitchen Battle of the States Episode 7 Review. Hey good people, and welcome back to the channel. After watching tonight's episode, on a scale of 1 to 10, I will give it a solid 8. I enjoyed watching this episode, and I felt that some of the chefs got exposed during the episode. Over the course of the video, I will talk about the important happenings during this episode. I'll also talk about the elimination, and I will share my updated list for chefs that will make it to the final 10. So without any further delay, let's jump right in. The first important happening for this episode will be the episode challenge. For this episode, the chefs have to go head to head while cooking Mexican-inspired dishes. The chefs get to choose which of the 6 proteins they want to cook and which chefs they want to go up against. The chefs also got to choose which ingredients they were allowed to use during the silly game of guacamole. So for this challenge, here were the list of proteins and the chefs that went head to head when cooking their respective dishes. For the pork tenderloin, we had Ellie and John. The flat iron steak, Cara Marie and Anthony. The red snapper, Anaya and Chris. Chicken thighs, Sydney and Jaden. Red prawns, Alexandra and Henry. And the skirt steak, Jada and Lisa. During the cooking portion of this challenge, the biggest highlight that I could think of was seeing Jada being a breath of fresh air for the blue team. And she accomplishes this by offering help and advice to her teammates for the challenge. It was also nice seeing the guys from the blue team being very receptive to Jada's help. And overall, it was nice to see somebody on the blue team finally step up and be a leader. Now, the blue team ultimately won the challenge, but there were a few takeaways that I had from the experience. With the blue team, the only dish that did not get a point was Chris's dish. And this was the 3rd week in a row that Chris had a poor challenge performance for his team. Early in the season, I felt that Chris was a lock for the top 3 chefs for the season, but it seems like Chris may have peaked when it came to his ability to cook his own food. He continues to do a pretty decent job during the dinner services, but for Chris to make it to the finale, he's going to have to step his game up and show some leadership skills, as well as elevate his cooking. Another takeaway was seeing Sydney and Ellie fail to score points for the red team, and this was because both chefs had some technical errors with their dishes. Outside of the 3 chefs that I mentioned, the remaining chefs were able to cook dishes that were so good that they earned a point each for their respective teams, which means that we still have some very talented chefs for this season of Hell's Kitchen. The next important happening would be this episode's dinner service, and this dinner service was yet another disaster, but not without its high points. The MVP for this dinner service has to be Jada. Just like in the episode challenge, during dinner service, Jada made her voice known and she set the tone for the blue team with her ability to lead by example. Unfortunately, Jada's hard work and dedication was not enough to save the blue team. John only had to worry about cooking French fries for this dinner service, and he messed up multiple times. Jaden served overcooked lobster, Chris served overcooked steak, and Henry served raw pork. So while the blue team did better with their communication, they didn't do so great with their execution of the dinner service. And while the blue team finished their dinner service, Gordon still instructed them to nominate 2 chefs for elimination. The red team also did pretty bad. Sydney and Lisa screwed up the scallop station, Anaya overcooked pork chops, Alexandra cooked rice without cilantro, and things had gotten so bad that Gordon asked Jada to stop cooking for the blue team so that she could visit the red team and give them pointers on how to cook dishes the right way. The last straw was when the team served Gordon raw salmon and chicken. The red team got kicked out of the kitchen, and they had to nominate 2 chefs for elimination. So here were 2 things that I noticed about the red team during the episode. First, Jada was the best chef on the team, and switching her to the blue team caused the red team to completely collapse during dinner service. I believe that Gordon knew exactly what would happen when he switched Jada to the blue team, and it's silly that nobody on the red team attempted to step up and be the leader that Gordon was looking for after Jada left. The second thing that I noticed was during the red team's deliberation for elimination, nobody really attempted to hold Anaya accountable for the mistakes that she made during the dinner service. Granted, Anaya is one of the stronger chefs that remain on the red team, and she has a personality that can be quite intimidating, but a case could be made that Anaya needed to be put up for elimination so that she could be given a much needed reality check, and Gordon could show her that her place in this competition is not secure. but the red team ultimately nominates Sydney and Alexandra for elimination, while the blue team nominates John and Henry. If we're keeping it real, then we gotta admit that none of these chefs have a chance of being in the finale. But I never expected Sydney or Henry to go home because they were never really in this position before. Alexandra and John, on the other hand, have been in this position. Gordon ultimately chooses to eliminate John, which was well deserved. Again, John only had to worry about cooking French fries, and he couldn't even do that right. If you can't even cook French fries, then you have no business being Gordon's head chef, and that's just a fact. Now, a few episodes ago, I picked John to be in the final 10. But with John's elimination, I will keep the top 10 list mostly the same, but I will swap out John for Ellie. I think that Ellie beats out Cara Marie for the top 10 spot, but once these chefs make it to the top 10, then they won't have too many more people to hide behind, and they'll be exposed rather quickly. That's the end of this review, but I would like to know what you all think about tonight's episode. Feel free to leave all comments below in the comment section, and I'll be sure to reply to everybody. Until next time, stay tuned and stay safe. Peace.